we have the 5 frames, and we're going to start with, hopefully you have all the plastic off the frames, but if not, take all the plastic off the frames. And then we are going to take the backing off all the frames. So take this out. This we don't need it, so you can see if you can find something else for it to be used for, or chuck it. I mean, it might be good for something, and then you won't need this either, so we can throw that away too. And then I like to gently take the glass out. And then we're going to have kind of 2 separate areas where we put the frames and the glass. And we'll end up putting the glass back in the frames, but I want to kind of like deconstruct all of the frames first, and then we'll get into that next part.
So basically what I did is we've started deconstructing our photo frames. So we're gonna have the glass right here and then the frames right here. We'll end up putting the glass back in the frames, but I'm gonna deconstruct them all first, and then we'll get to that. So right now I'm just taking the backing out, putting it to the side. We don't need it anymore. And then this paper we don't need anymore either. And just gently taking the glass out, and then on to our next one. And then if it hurts your fingers, because it kind of does, you can use either the edge of your scissors to kind of bring these up, the little tabs that are in the back, or you can use like the pliers just to kind of lift it up. We're going to kind of use the pliers to get these little black things out. When we get to that part, you can wiggle them out with your hands if you don't have pliers. It's just a little harder to do without the pliers. The pliers make it a little easier to remove the little black tabs from the frame, because we won't need those. We're going to be completely deconstructing the photo frame for that last 5th one. So you won't need the last piece of glass for that one. So I'm actually gonna kind of take this 5th one and just kind of put it to the side, because we'll deal with that one later. Okay, so now that we have removed all the glass from our photo frames, now we're going to go and we're going to use our pliers, or like I said, you can use your hands. We're just going to try to gently take these black tabs out of the photo frame. And you kind of do that by just like wiggling it gently, and it'll come out. Like I said, it's easier with pliers. So hopefully you guys have some sort of pliers, like beading pliers, or just regular like tool pliers. Those will work too. But like if you don't, you just kind of have to work with your fingers, and I just kind of go up and down just to kind of get it to give. But like I said, it's easier with the pliers. And if you don't have pliers and you're not able to get it out, you can always leave it in. I don't know if this one I actually did, but one of the lanterns that I did, I didn't have the pliers at first, so I left the tabs in, and it's not, it's okay. It tracks a little bit from the look, but not a lot. So you can only barely see them when you have your lantern all put together. I just like not having the tabs at all. So if you aren't able to get it out because you don't have pliers and you're not able to use your hands to wiggle it out, then that's okay. It can stay. They can stay in. So I got all 4 out of this one, and I'm going to do that to 3 others. So we're going to do that to all 5 of them. So all 5 now I have without the little tabs in there. And then I have the glass set aside as well. You'll need the glass for 4 out of 5 of the frames, because the 5th frame we're going to end up completely dismantling. So you won't need the glass for that 5th one, but you will need the glass for 4 out of 5 of them. So don't throw away the glass, just kind of keep it to the side. Okay. Okay, so the next part. Okay, so the next part is we're going to take, like I said, 4 out of 5 of the picture frames, and you're going to take your super glue, open it up, and we're just going to put, so we have this one picture frame, and in each of the 4 corners, we're going to put a little dab of glue, just a tiny dot, because it doesn't take a lot to make it stick. But we're just going to put like a little dot of glue right there, right there, right there, and right there. And then we're going to place our glass on it. And then we're going to keep it flat like this, just to give it time for it to completely adhere. And then we'll go on to our next one, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just put a little drop on each corner, just to make sure that the glass stays. So right here I have 4 of my frames, and I have them glued down, although because I used hot glue, it took me a little time. So let me just add a little bit of glue, because it kind of, there we go. Thing about super glue is if you wait too, or hot glue is if you wait too long to put it in, it's so quick drying that it gets hard too fast, and you have to kind of work around it. So yeah, we're going to do that to, like I said, 4 out of 5 of the frames. And then once you're done, you should have your frames, and they should kind of look like this, with the glass just regular. It just looks like it's in there, but instead of having the tabs hold it, we're having the glue hold it. Okay, so for the next part, we are going to basically create our box, or our lantern. So it should, when we're done, each of the pieces will kind of be laid on the side of their counterparts. So I don't know if you can see that really well on the camera, but basically I put them on the edge like this. Maybe if we do this, maybe you can see better a little bit there. So we're going to do, this is our first one. And I don't have any glue or anything in it yet, because I just kind of want to make sure that it's going to look okay. So that's kind of how we're going to have it right there. And then we'll add on the 3rd piece to the other side. And then once we have that 3rd piece, then we'll lay the 4th piece on top. Again, with the glue. Right now I don't have any glue, because I'm just trying to show you. And when we do this, we're actually going to use a combination of hot glue and super glue. The hot glue is to adhere it very quickly, because hot glue sets really quick. And then the super glue is more for permanence. So when we do this, we're going to actually do it like a thin strip of the super glue, and then a thin strip of the hot glue. You can just use hot glue, but it doesn't work. It's not as permanent as the super glue will make it. The super glue will make sure that it definitely adheres for the long term. The hot glue is more of a temporary a temporary hold while the super glue does its job. So you can use just the super glue, but it's not going to work quite as well permanently. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're just going to kind of see how it's going to fit on there. Like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to, first we're going to start with the super glue. And then we're just going to lay a thin line of super glue down the edge. Like that. And then we're going to just kind of go right next to it with the hot glue and just lay a nice thin line of hot glue down as well. And then before the hot glue dries, then we're just going to place our frame against each other. I included a, it's called a finger saver, finger protector, because I just burned myself not using it. So what you can do is you can place it on the finger that's going to be really close to the super glue, or the hot glue, I'm sorry, and just so that you can manipulate it without hopefully hurting your fingers. Because we want it to be along the edge of each other. So like this one, see how I have, see, that's why only having super glue or only having hot glue doesn't really work. So let's try that again. Looks like my glue was not quite ready to do what it needed to do. So let's put that one to the side. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of take off the layer of hot glue that dried too quickly. Okay, and then we're gonna try it again. Add a little bit more super glue. And then we're just going to take our frame and make sure it lines up along the edge. And then we're gonna kind of hold it down this time so that we know that it'll stay. We're gonna give that a couple minutes to figure out that it wants to work. Because if I'm impatient like I usually am, it does what it just did. So we're just gonna kind of hold it down for, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, just to make sure that it fully adheres. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side. So we're going to do this side right here. So we're going to put, like I said, first we're going to do a thin layer of the super glue, or if you just want to do, and then the hot glue as well. I also like to really push down on it when I'm first starting, just because I noticed that when I didn't push down on it really hard, like the super or the hot glue kind of leaves an indent, so it doesn't look as good because it kind of makes it stick up. So I'm gonna push down really hard and try not to breathe in the fumes of the super glue, which is apparently very, very potent. So be careful, because I just got a whiff of the super glue. So I'm just pushing this one down. And then I notice that I have a little bit of super glue that's kind of trying to leak out the side. It's basically dry now, so it's not hot anymore. just gonna kind of keep pushing down to make sure that it fully adheres. Okay. Now we have our two sides. That should look kind of like this, where we have this one down at the bottom, and then these two on the side that are hopefully standing up still. So now we're going to take our fourth one, our fourth picture frame, and we're basically just going to lay it on the side like this. You might have to manipulate a little bit just to make sure that it'll fit, and that's fine, because mine, I don't know if that you can really see it from there because it's kind of close, but they kind of went in a little bit. So when I put my glue and stuff on them, I'm just going to kind of start with one side and then use my finger to kind of pull out the second side just to make sure that I can get it to stay. So first we'll start with, it's really hard to see, it's super close. We're going to start with this side first. And like I said, we're just going to lay the thin line of super glue and then another line of hot glue. Hopefully your hands are a little steadier than mine. And then we're going to do the same to the other side as well. Again, try not to breathe in that super glue. That is really potent. I now know why you didn't want to use it, Joyce, because it is very potent. Ugh. Okay, so now we're just laying this one on this side and then using our finger to kind of pull out that other side to make sure that it fully adheres. And then, like I said, if you need to use your little finger saver to make sure that your fingers don't get burned, like mine keep trying to, go ahead and use that little finger saver. So now we're just kind of gently pushing on the sides, because if you push too hard, it might collapse it because it's not fully dry yet. So we're just kind of pushing down, making sure that you're pushing just along these edges, kind of where it's sitting. You don't want to put any undue pressure where it might collapse itself. We're just trying to kind of push down to where the sides will stay where we want them to. And then when we lift it up, it should resemble a little box. It's hard to see because it's kind of tall, but hopefully it will look like this. Let me see if I can fix the camera so see a little bit better. See, we have it like this. So it should be just a little box. And then I noticed on mine, there's like a little bit, see it. When I was working, I think I let the super glue kind of, or the hot glue dry too quickly. So I noticed like a little bit of, I can see a little bit through it. So we're going to I'm going to take my super glue and just kind of add some in there just to kind of make sure that it does stay. So we're going to take the hot glue, just kind of put a line in there just to kind of make sure that it sticks, because we don't want it to like, the only thing is it doesn't look too great. So I'm going to kind of use my finger saver just to kind of, I don't know if anybody's ever done any like caulking where you kind of run your finger over it after you've put it down. I'm kind of trying that just to, because I don't want it to look really bad after I'm done. So I'm going to kind of do that to hopefully get it so that the super glue or the hot glue doesn't look really bad on the edges. But I also want to make sure that it stays together. So if any of you notice that on yours as well, that there's like a little opening, like I said, I just laid a little line of hot glue just so it would kind of soak in there, just to make sure that it stays because we don't want it to come apart on us. Okay, so for the next part, if you were able to glue your frames together, the next part is actually going to be with our fifth and final frame. This part's kind of tricky. So definitely if you're gonna come get the new frames, I would stick, because these are not exactly fun to take apart. Because the thing is, we wanna be kind of careful. You don't wanna just rip it apart. Because if you rip it apart, it looks bad. So we're kind of just gonna, I just basically go back and forth and kind of wiggle it just to see these, there's like three little staples kind of holding it together. So I'm just kind of just gently going back and forth just to kind of get it so that it loosens. And then once it gets loose enough, I do that, and then it kind of messes up. It's okay. Well, the rope kind of hides a little bit of the imperfections, but just be kind of careful. And then I use the pliers again to just kind of take the little staples out. These little staples right here, kind of throw them away. And then we're going to do the same with all of them. Wiggle them out. Now we have one side that's kind of loose. So then we're going to kind of come over here and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to kind of wiggle it around, up and down to the side, just gently so that we don't break it, or don't break it so that it looks really bad. A little breaking is going to happen because we're breaking it. So hopefully it doesn't go too bad, and hopefully it comes apart. So it's going to kind of be careful with this part because you don't want to hurt yourself. So then I'm going to take those out. So now we have one piece that's completely ready to go. So we're going to put that to the side, and then we're just going to kind of keep going. Wiggling. There we go. That one came out a little easier. Once you have like 2 out of the 3 pieces out, it becomes a lot easier to completely take apart. It's like that first initial one is the hardest part to maneuver, and then once you have that part out, it becomes a little easier. Not completely easy, but a little bit. And then I'm going to say that, and then I'm probably going to break this one, so hopefully I don't. Like I said, we're just going to kind of work it so that we can and hopefully don't do that. It didn't do too bad though. I've had some of them when I was working on it rip all the way apart. So this one didn't do too bad. And I'm just going to take out these parts. Be careful because it looks like I might have accidentally, yep, it looks like that piece right here, you can't really tell, but it kind of tried to come off a little bit. So I'm going to have to be gentle with that one. So once you have them all apart, they're not going to be the same size. And that's what we want to remedy, because to make the top, we want them to all be the same size. So what I did is I just kind of took, we're going to make them all the small pieces because it's easier to cut than to add length. So we're going to take one of our pieces, and I just kind of set it on top of the big piece. And then if you see, it's kind of hard to see because they're both the same color, but this long piece on the bottom, you can kind of see where it starts. So what I did is you can use your box cutters to just kind of score a line like that, or I'm just going to take a pen real quick and do that. So I can kind of not have to worry. So I've just made a line right there. Again, it's hard to see because I use black. And then I'm just going to very carefully, because you're using box cutters, so don't hurt yourself. I'm just gonna gently score it until I can kind of break it. Now, if you guys have like one of those like self-healing mats, like usually people, if you sew, you might have them. I would put this on top of that. I don't have a self-healing mat. I just have the table. So I'm going to be very careful so that I don't hurt the table or my hands because you don't want to like cut the table. So just kind of be careful. You know, box cutters are scary. So I'm just going to kind of keep scoring this with the box cutter. Both sides, you kind of have to kind of go up a little bit. And then I'm just gonna go around too. If you don't have a box cutter, it's gonna be really difficult. I mean, you can try scissors. I don't think scissors are gonna work. No, scissors are, oh, okay, well, scissors kind of worked. So you can try the scissors, but be very careful because I was actually very surprised that they worked. It might have been because I scored it a little first. But just be very careful. Like, do not hurt yourselves. I have a few little pieces. So that actually worked better than the box cutter. So like, if that works for you, that's great. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the other big piece as well. Just taking the smaller piece and just kind of using that as a template to see where I need to cut it. Let's see, we're gonna close you. Put you this side. Let's see if the scissors work for you, or if it was just because I scored it. Oh, okay, so the scissors worked. Yeah, you found another way to do it. Although it looks like it kind of cut a piece of it off. No. Okay, so the second time it kind of cut a little piece off, but we're just gonna take a little bit of glue, a little bit of the hot glue, and I'm just gonna hold it back down. And that'll, it's pretty quickly. Okay, so once you have your 4 pieces and they're all the same size, then we're gonna take them and put them on the top of our lantern. So I noticed for this part, it's kind of, it takes a lot of glue, or at least it took me a lot of glue. And then that's kind of why I put the rope on the top, which was to hide it, because it's not super pretty. So before you actually start gluing, I would actually, you're gonna wanna take your pieces. I can't really see all that well because I'm so tall up on here. Let's try, I'm gonna pin my other one and then see if we can see if that one looks better. Okay. Oh, let's unmute me.
Okay, so can everybody see me with the back now? Hopefully. Okay, so for this one, so go to my other name on the side, the one that says Jennifer Agnew host, and you're gonna pin that one now. Because this one, the camera's too close on that way, so we're gonna go this way.
This one?
You guys find that one? We are going to take these and just kind of look and see how it looks before we actually glue anything. We're not going to glue anything yet. Kind of see how it looks without gluing. Now, and that's kind of difficult. You kind of need multiple hands. So if anybody has anybody helping them, that's always good because this is kind of hard to do by yourself. You want to put them in a way that they use each other's weight to counterbalance them. So it's going to be a little difficult. We're going to hot glue one piece, and then we're going to go to the other side and hot glue that piece to it so that they kind of keep upright using each other. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So we're just going to take this one and put a dab of the hot glue. We're just going to kind of lay it on there and kind of hold it down for a little bit. The hot glue does like to run, so if you have your little finger saver, which I lost mine, it might be good to have it so that you can kind of keep it from going everywhere. And then while you're holding this one, you kind of hold this one while you're waiting for it to dry. You're going to take another one and glue it like that. So what I do, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this edge of the lantern. And then we're just going to kind of hold them together to give them enough time to dry. It's going to take a minute. Yeah, don't burn yourself. Use the little finger saver. I don't know how well it's helping. It hasn't really helped me this time, but hopefully it helps you. And then once these are kind of stable, a little bit anyway, you want to go an X instead of going like this. You want to go opposite of each other so that they kind of lay against each other. That's going to keep them up a little bit better. Another little layer. on the lantern. And then we're going to put a little layer right here on our two that are already together. And you might need to add more glue as you go, like this one. Turn it a little. I'm going to add a little bit more glue like right here. And then you might have to like move them so that they kind of move. So you don't want to wait too long, and you don't want to push too hard because they tend to try to escape each other. And then the last one, I'm going to put a little line of glue, and then a line of glue on this one. And I have a lot of strings right now of the super glue, but that's okay. We can take that off when we're all done. So for right now, it's going to look all weird because we're going to have a lot of strings. We're just going to kind of ignore those for now. Right now we're using the hot glue. Add a little bit of the super glue just to kind of give it more permanence. But yeah, I'm using the hot glue right now. And then make sure with the super glue, it's super potent. So just don't breathe it in. I'm saying that, and you guys are probably thinking, of course we're not breathing it in. That would be dumb, but I keep doing it on accident. So that's why I say. So here's mine. I'm basically using each of them to kind of hold each other down. And then if you feel like they're not holding enough each other down, you could just add a little bit of glue around the sides. So somebody didn't have box cutters, so I was actually able to do it with scissors. I don't have any way to show you because I already did it, but so when I cut it first, so say you have two pieces. These are the same size, but say one is bigger than the other. I would have just taken we're going to take a pen, and where you want to cut it, you're just going to kind of put the pin right there.
Okay.
See? And then the scissors. But be very careful. If you have box cutters, try the box cutters, but the scissors did work. They just kind of not as clean as the box cutters, but it did work. So if you don't have box cutters, the scissors did work. And then hopefully everybody's pinned to the one where I have the background behind me with the little flowers and stuff. So if you guys are on that one, then you can see how the top of it, I have them in a triangular shape. And how you're going to do that is you're going to start with one on the side, and you glue it down to the edge of the lantern. And then you're going to go diagonal to the other side and use that so that they kind of hit each other like a house steeple and stay together. With them on the same side, they tend to go down. So if you want to go like this, like in an X. So these two first, and then these. Sally, yours looks right. It looks much much better than mine, actually. It does look really pretty. So this, the rope kind of hides that. So if you want to hide that, this rope is good, and it kind of gives it a, I don't know, like a rustic feel. And then this is the loop. If you don't want to do that, there's also another option. I gave you guys flowers. So if you want to use the flowers to kind of hide the imperfections, you can do that. And then if you still want to loop, you should have a binder clip, hopefully. And you can use the binder clip as a way to keep the loop without having to do the rope. Or you can do it in addition to the rope. It's kind of up to you. Do it like that, and then it'll hang, and then I can always go like that.
Oh, shit.
And then because I don't want to use the rope on this one, I think I'm just going to go with the flowers. I'm just going to basically super glue them so that they hide any imperfections. I don't know that you really want to hang it since it doesn't have a bottom. But if you want to have it hang, you can.
Can you ask her how
If
to
you
use
don't want to
rope?
put anything. I did see some people. How I did the rope is I basically just took one edge. So you're going to untie it. Come on, where are you? So basically you're just going to take some super glue and glue it to the top. Obviously not this top because it's already got the thing. And then basically you're just going to loop it around. And then I looped it about 4 times around each side. So you're gonna take it all the way through. And then if you want to add a little bit of glue as you're going, like underneath so that it doesn't show because you don't want the super glue to show, you just kind of place like a little dab like underneath. So then that way you can't see it, but it kind of stays. So then I do this 4 times on this side. And then once I have it 4 times, then I've done it 4 times. Then I'm going to kind of go to the side one and I'm going to loop it around the side as well. So the rope is going in 2 different directions. It goes this way first, and then I'm going to have it go this way.
Okay.
And then when you're doing it on the side, if you want to leave a loop, how I did that was I just looped it twice So I went around twice, and then I'm just gonna kind of go like this. Want my loop that tall? Yeah, that's good. And then put a little bit of glue right here,
Mhm.
and then keep rolling it around and 2 more times. And then when you're done and it has the look that you want it to have, you just cut it off, and then you're gonna place a little bit of glue underneath, and then just lay it there, and then it'll stay. And then you have rope with the loop. And then you can even, if you don't want to leave a loop with the rope, you could do, oh, I have it over here. But the ring, you can always do the ring instead of this loop right here.
Oh, okay.
And then you basically just glue it into the rope.